Hi everyone, Paolo here. Welcome to the channel. Time to share what I've learned, and I'm back with another Salesforce tutorial. A while back, I did a video on how to use the Salesforce MCP server using GitHub Copilot to do some vibe coding. Now we have the newly released Agentforce Vibes. Salesforce improved the Agentforce for Developers chat, which didn't have any context of your project. It was just chat. But now we can tap into the magic of agentic AI and allow the AI to create the necessary files for us, apply logic, and run some commands. And also tap into the power of the Salesforce MCP server. Basically, they are special tools that give context to our org to the AI. Now we can start vibe coding. Vibe coding is simply the workflow or the process of describing through natural language what you want to build and let the AI agent take actions for you. Alright, so here I have the terminal open. I'm simply gonna run a command to create a new Salesforce project. So I'm gonna say sf generate project -- name. I'm gonna call it Agentforce Vibes. And then that should create the scaffolding for that project. So I'm just gonna cd into that project and then open it up in Visual Studio Code. Right. So on Visual Studio Code, the first thing you want to do is check that you got the Agentforce Vibes extension loaded. So by default, it should be part of the Salesforce extension pack. You don't need to install it separately. So if I search for Salesforce extension, you would see this first one, the extension pack, has 12 items on it, and it has the Agentforce Vibes, or you could get the expanded version, which add additional more extensions from the community, like linting. It should have the Agentforce Vibes as well. So any one of this should work. So once you get the extension added or it's in your system, sometimes you might need to restart the extension to get that loaded. But on the activity bar here, you should see this Agentforce Vibes icon here. So this chat window, currently I'm not connected to any org. So you simply need to connect to a Salesforce org. So I'm going to hit connect here and then select an org that I already authenticated myself with. And immediately I can see that this window loaded. So because Salesforce Vibes or Agentforce Vibes is enabled on the org that I selected, this got loaded. But if you're not seeing this, you could open up your org, which I have open here, and search for Vibes, and you would see Agentforce Vibes extension here. Make sure that this is enabled. So by default, it's enabled. Toggling this would actually disable it. Cool. And once you get that, you should see this on your system. So what you see here is basically the same Agentforce for developers before with chat, but now it has the act version. So you have the plan and then you have the act. And you also see that the MCP server here has a section here to enable the MCP server. So if I click on that, this would actually enable the Salesforce DX MCP server. So I'm going to enable that. This might take a few minutes. And what this would do, if I expand this and open this up, this is the MCP server, and it added this 14 tools. So every now and then, Salesforce would keep adding this tool. So it could get the username, it could get the you have access to the resume tool, to the query tool, and all of this. So the agent could use any one of these tools once you prompt it. Cool. And then if I close this, you could also configure the MCP server here. So check out my video about this, but this is the configuration. It would run on standard IO. It's a node application that runs locally. It's installed globally, so you could access it. And currently this this org, it has access to all the orgs that I have authenticated myself. So what I could do here is change it to the default org as well. So I could say default target org. so that it knows that it would only run on the default target org, which is my org that I authenticated myself with. So it's going to restart, and once you see that green light, that means it's active. Cool. Now let's go back. Before I go back, you could also install other MCP servers. Let me know if you want me to discuss any of those, and I'll show you how to do them. Right, I'll click on that. Done. Now we could create a prompt. So the auto approve here is any of these commands. If I open this as well, you would see that they're auto enabled. So if there's a command that needs to ask for your permission, because I have this edit project check, it's not going to prompt me to take an action, ask me first. It's just going to do it. So I'm gonna run this with that disabled first, and I'll show you what I mean. So with this, let's try prompting it to do something. Let's ask it to build me a LWC component that displays all the accounts with the related contacts and opportunities. And I hit enter. The agent was received my request. This is pretty slow that I notice. It's not as fast as GitHub Copilot. And by the way, I have GitHub Copilot enabled here as well. So what I could do is, if you have multiple agents running, is you could disable one of the agents, so the code completion and all of those doesn't conflict, and it would just run the Agentforce one. Right. So it's saying to implement the LWC correctly and align. It's asking me to approve or reject. I'm gonna say approve, and this is what it's gonna do. It's gonna build all these components, all these classes, some custom object and fields. But as with any agentic AI, you need to review what it's doing and make sure it's correct. So here it's asking me another prompt, and I need to save. For each file that it basically creates, it's going to ask me to save it. So I'm going to click on edit here and then save. So it would just generate the whole thing for me. Right, so it's generating the files. As you can see, it's creating some LWC. I'm gonna speed this up and wait because it's pretty slow. That's what I noticed. So I'll catch you when the AI finish all its stuff. All right, so it's almost there. As you can see, there's also a tracker here at the top. It says 10 out of 13 of the tasks that it's completing. So this one's asking permission, so I'm gonna say approve. Yeah, so it's gonna try to use the MCP server. All right. So it tried to deploy, but it encountered an error. Now I think it's trying to fix those errors and then try to deploy it again. And I believe it hit another error, so it's trying to sort that out. By the way, if you don't want it to keep on prompting you to approve, you could enable the use MCP server here, and it would just deploy it. All right, so that time I think I hit that before it prompted me. So let's see if this would work. All right, so it keeps prompting me, even though I already have the use MCP server enabled there. I don't want to execute all commands, just want the MCP server, so I'm not sure why. Maybe the star? Yep. Nope. Adding the star, we just put it here on this submenu here. Finally, it's able to deploy it. I'm not even going to check what the agent build would be a bit much, because I believe it created a lot more than I expected. But this is how the agent works. So then it would make a plan, execute those plans step by step, and then if you have the MCP server enabled, it would try to deploy this on the target org. So that's a quick preview of the Agentforce Vibes. If you want more deep dive into this, let me know. All right, that's it for this video. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.